I'm Tommy the Butcher. We are Wise Guys Barbecue, and today we are swinging for the fence. Don't even think about going anywhere because you're really gonna want to see this. Smoked and reverse seared, grilled, bone-in tomahawk ribeyes with an Italian compound butter. This recipe is very low on ingredients, but it's high on technique. I'm gonna show you how you can do it at home so you can be a star too. But before we get started, please like, share, and subscribe, and ring that notification bell so you will not miss an episode. Stick around, we're cooking together. All right, it's time to get the show started. Now, there's no doubt that a tomahawk ribeye are showstoppers. Nobody's gonna contest that. However, they are quite intimidating. So the first step we're gonna do, and this is something you wanna do 24 hours before you're planning on cooking it, is we're gonna do a dry brine. Now these tomahawks I have are about 2.5 pounds. They're a good 2.5 inches thick. So the dry brine process, I highly recommend that we do it a 24-hour prior to your cook. Now, if you're dealing with a normal thickness steak, 1.5 inch, then you can go 8 hours ahead of time. So it's not really necessary to do the 24-hour cook. But we're gonna use kosher salt. I highly recommend Diamond Crystal kosher salt. We've got a link added in the description box so you can get your own. Now, because these are extremely thick, we're gonna go extremely heavy with the salt. And now it's gonna look like quite a bit of salt, but trust me, there's gonna be a lot of penetration, so this salt can get through the thickness of the steak. Now, if there's any trimming necessary on these look pretty good. Sometimes you have some pretty thick external fat. By all means, go in and trim that off. But here we go. We're gonna salt this like you've never salted anything before. And we wanna do the sides. Make sure you get those sides. Flip it over. As you can see, you're probably thinking that's a lot, but I'm gonna go in with even more than that. Almost to the point where you see just like a white dusting on top of the steak. All right, there we go. So we've got our rack and our sheet pan set up. We're gonna transfer this over to the rack and the sheet pan. It's gonna go in the fridge overnight, preferably 24 hours. Then we'll return to it in the morning. And what you're gonna see, I did a few overnight so that we have them ready for today's cook. And here you go. What happens is after a few minutes, after the salt has been applied, all the juices are gonna rise to the surface. It'll become wet. You'll see a lot of moisture. It'll be shiny, but then again in time, all those juices will begin to retreat into the steak. Now, and they'll begin to get rather like an opaque looking color. They'll look kind of dried out, maybe even darker than the initial steak you started with the day before. And that can get more dramatic with a thinner steak. If you have like a 1-inch steak, that process is gonna be a little more dramatic the next day, but because these were so thick, it doesn't have quite the contrast, but that's what it looks like after a 24-hour dry brine. And these, at this point, are ready to go. They're ready to be cooked. All we're gonna be doing is rubbing a little bit of olive oil on the external surface of it and adding some cracked black pepper. So that's your dry brining process, and we're gonna be moving on to the next step. All right, before we get these bad boys fired up, the only thing we need to do is get a little olive oil on them and get a little pepper on these. You absolutely do not have to add any more salt. That's all there from the dry brining process. We're just gonna go in and just, get a little bit of oil on both sides. And then just gonna go in with a little cracked black pepper. Now, these are choice tomahawks. I purchased them from Snake River Farms. A tremendous, tremendous online resource for all your meats and all types of, anything you need from a butcher shop that you wouldn't find locally or nearby. And great service. You can actually pick and choose your own delivery date, and they have about a 48-hour turnaround from order to delivery. So we've included a link to their website. It'll be down in the description box. So I highly urge and recommend that you check them out. These are looking great. They're all seasoned, ready to go for the grill. We'll meet you over there in 1 second. We'll get them on. All right, it's time to get these bad boys fired up. So we're going on to our Yoda smoker. We're doing a 175-degree cold smoke. And I'm gonna get these on. I'm gonna go basically one there, and I'm just gonna, okay, we've got them on. Now, like I said, we're gonna do about 175 degree cold smoke. And what a cold smoke is obviously what it implies is lower temperatures where you wanna get a longer burn time, cook time. This can also be done in the oven, so if you do not have a smoker, by all means, use your oven. You wanna set your oven to 175 degrees, just like we did, and all the times and temperatures are gonna be exactly the same. So, no smoker, no sweat, use your oven. Now, we're gonna be going about an hour and a half to 2 hours with these. I wanna slowly get them up to an internal temperature of 110, 115 degrees tops, because once you reach that point, we're gonna go to the grill and we're gonna do what's called a reverse sear. So it's a slow process of getting the internal temperatures up to a certain point without really cooking or overcooking it, and then bringing it over to a high heat grill for that finish high sear. So we're gonna let these go. I'm gonna let these go for about a half an hour. Then we're gonna come out and we're gonna baste them with some tallow to keep them moist throughout the cooking process, and we'll return with the next step. See you in a little bit. All right, we're gonna do our compound butter, our Italian compound butter that is. And a compound butter is basically any softened butter with added seasonings and ingredients. Put it all together and you mix, you know, a compound butter. That's what that is. So I have 2 sticks of salted butter, or 16 tablespoons. Allow this to come to room temperature. To that, we're gonna be adding 6 cloves of finely chopped garlic. Now, I'm gonna work that garlic into the butter and soften it up somewhat before we add the last 2 ingredients. This is gonna make it a lot easier to get everything incorporated and mixed together. Next, we're gonna go in with 4 tablespoons of chopped sun-dried tomatoes. These are sun-dried tomatoes in oil. They work much better with this type of application because I want that oil in there and it's gonna make everything more cohesive and blend together. So in with the 4 tablespoons of sun-dried tomato, and the last ingredient is 4 tablespoons of chopped fresh basil. All right, we're gonna get this all blended together. Boy, I don't know of too many things that smell any better than the combination of tomato and basil. I mean, that's like freshness overload. All right, that's all mixed up, ready to go. Next thing what we're gonna do, we're gonna take a container, something you can put a lid on. I'm using a glass container. Just gonna dump this in, because what we need to do is we're gonna have to get this into the refrigerator to chill, and then it'll reset as like a hard butter rather than a soft. But you just want to get this chilled off. All right, there you have it. That is our Italian compound butter. Into the fridge, get it chilled, and we'll be right back. All right, we're ready to get started with our charcoal grill. I'm using the tried and true workhorse for years. It's the Weber Kettle, 22-inch, one of the best on the market, and extremely affordable, highly efficient. It'll do the job. So what we're gonna be doing is we're gonna be running lump charcoal for our fuel. I'm gonna remove this grate, and I'm just gonna build that process for you so you can see. It's pretty simple. Basically gonna load this so it's all pretty much so that the whole bottom surface area is covered with charcoal. It might not seem like enough, but what we're gonna be doing, once this is all fully lit, I'm gonna be sliding this off to one side of the grill. So it's gonna set up our high heat indirect grilling. I'll have a high heat zone, and then I'll have a neutral zone, so I'm able to get the steaks into a safe spot if need be, so they don't all get flared up. I'm gonna get this back into like a pyramid. I don't wanna get it set or light the fire with it all spread out like that. I wanna get it into a pyramid, and then we'll get these fire starters on. And once this begins to get going, you'll see it all turning white. At one point, we'll be able to come back here and then spread all those coals back out a little bit. All right, we will be including a link to all the products we're using for this, our charcoal, lighter cubes. So I have 3 quick start lighter cubes. Can be purchased anywhere. can be purchased Home Depot. We put a link to Amazon. I'm gonna place these, just gonna spread them out a little bit. Get some of the charcoal so it's, you know, up and around them. And we're just gonna get those lit. And once these are lit, you're just gonna let them go. And slowly but surely, all these coals are gonna start to light. And in time, they're all gonna be spread out and you'll be good to go. So we're gonna let that go for a while. Now, the important thing is when we're doing the charcoal grill setup to finish this cook, this process is gonna take about 45 minutes. From beginning to the end, once these coals are lit and you're ready to accept the steaks for the final searing, it's gonna be about a 45-minute process. So there's a little bit of math involved to figure out when those will be ready and when you want this to be ready, and you'll be able to transfer it all in one shot. Now, if you don't have a charcoal grill, no worries. A gas grill will work just fine. Just keep that gas grill, set it as high as it can go. It's gonna be a lot more convenient with a gas grill because now you're not like timing the charcoal. And so if you're not a purist and don't wanna go with the charcoal, do the gas grill, get it on high. You're gonna get those steaks off, you're gonna go right onto the gas grill, really high heat. It's only gonna be 2 or 3 minutes each side. So this is going. We're gonna keep an eye on it and we'll come back and visit it maybe about a half hour. Once those coals all become white, we're gonna spread it out a little bit, get everything going a little bit more quickly, and then we'll move everything off to one side. So we'll be back in a minute. All right, we're 1 hour into this cook. We've been maintaining a decent temperature around 170, 178 now, but we're gonna go in, we're gonna take a look, see how the color is, and while doing so, we're gonna baste with tallow. I've got tallow all melted, and we're gonna come in and baste a couple times just to enrich in the steaks, give it a nice sheen, give it some moisture. At the same time, we're gonna check for temps to see how we're coming along. So, these are looking great. We're getting color on those. I can see smokes. We're getting the smoke on there. So we don't wanna really cook these, we just wanna get them to an internal temperature of 110, 115 degrees. So I'm just gonna baste with some tallow. Just get it on there, and we're just adding moisture to keep these things nice and juicy. Now I'm gonna probe for internal temps. It's gonna go on the side and bring that probe right into about halfway. And we're at 68 degrees, so we still have a ways to go. We're looking at about 100, we want 110, 115. So I was estimating an hour and a half to 2 hours. We're 1 hour in. We could go to the 2 hour mark, so just gonna keep an eye on those. That's all there is to it. So that's it, we're gonna shut it, let it go another half hour, and we'll return and do the same thing. All right, we're 90 minutes in. We're gonna see how these tomahawks are coming along. Wow, they're looking great. I'm gonna bring them up to the top shelf because I wanna give them a flip, and I wanna baste the opposite side with the beef tallow. So we're gonna flip them on with the beef tallow. Like I said, we're 90 minutes in. We bumped the temperature up at the smoker a little bit. They seem to be lagging a little bit, and that's, like I always say, sometimes you're grilling, sometimes you're smoking. You need to make adjustments. Don't just get so rigid into your original plan. You're gonna run into some monkey wrenches. So we're gonna go and check this. Oh, wow, 106. I'm looking for 110 to 115, so we are right on target. 118, 117. So I'm gonna shut this lid. We'll only let them go about another 15 minutes. Yeah, so that'll be just under 2 hours, just as expected. We expected an hour and a half to 2 hours, so we're gonna be an hour and basically 45 minutes. So come back in 15 minutes, so we're gonna get these off. Our grill is white hot, ready to go, and it's all gonna come together. See you in 5 minutes. All right, now comes the most dramatic part about this whole cook. Tomahawks are ready on the smoker. It's time to get them off and into the fire, onto the pit. Charcoal is all nice and white. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna create an indirect grilling zone. So I'm gonna actually, with a, I got a big spatula here. I'm gonna like push all these hot coals to the front of our grill. There's a lot of heat on here. All right, so I'm gonna leave the front half with the heat. I'm gonna leave the back half as our cool zone. We're gonna put our grate on. Now I'm gonna be adding some wood chunks, some cherry chunks as a matter of fact, to enhance some of the flavor. Now on these grill grates for these Weber Smoky Mountains, there are a couple of doors on each side. You can lift it up and you can add your wood or any other flavoring agents. So I got a couple small chunks of cherry wood. In they go. Now this fire is pretty hot. This wood is pretty dry. They are gonna kind of flare up a little bit. They're gonna burn. They're not really gonna smoke and smolder. Don't worry about that. They're not gonna be on here very long. So we're just looking to get a little extra flavor, a little extra cherry wood flavor. On goes our grate. All right, we're ready to go. I'm gonna slide on over. Off they come. Gonna get these, look at that, you can see juices dripping from them. Get them onto the hot side of the coals. All right, as you can see, we got some very high heat going on here. It's exactly what we want. We wanna get that Maillard reaction formed. We wanna caramelize those proteins, get some nice color on it. Not only that, we wanna rise the internal temperature from the 115, 120 up to about 125 to 130. So you wanna stay on top of this, don't walk away, and you wanna flip these over every few seconds. You're gonna start to see some nice caramelization, some nice grill marks. And if this kind of gets away from you, we have that safe zone, that cool zone. So all we have to do is rotate them so it's off the flame, off the fire, and we can get them over to this safe zone so it doesn't, you know, get away from us and end up burning. We're cooking with fire, folks. Live fire. Here at Wise Guys Barbecue, we love playing with fire. We like being outside. This is where it's at. I wouldn't have it any other way myself. Talk about drama. Here we go. Yeah, so one of these came off the smoker at a little lower temperature. It's obviously thicker. That's the one there. So we're gonna actually, that could work to our benefit because we're gonna have a medium rare and we're probably gonna have a medium steak. So variety for all our guests and nobody will be disappointed. All right, these are coming along great. What I'm gonna do shortly, I'm gonna get them off that hot side. I'm gonna get them on the safe zone, the cool side, just so that it will allow me to probe to see what our internal temperatures are without those things flaring up any further, without them burning. So, all right, these are ready. We're gonna get them off. I'm gonna get them onto a rack on a sheet pan. We're gonna allow them to rest for about 10 minutes or so. And I'm putting them on a rack on a sheet pan so they're not sitting down in their juices. There goes number one, number two. All right, we're gonna go onto our work area and we're gonna let them rest. We're gonna give them about 10 minutes. Then we're gonna come out and we're gonna go with the compound butter next and we'll be ready to plate them up. All right, here with us on the set, we have a special guest. It's Steven from Cutco Cutlery, the world's finest cutlery. We're happy to have him on and he's gonna tell us a little bit about their products. They're a tremendous product and Steven, take it away. Tell us all about it.
Yeah, so I'm a sales representative for Cutco Cutlery. They do 200 million in sales every single year and have 17 million satisfied customers. So a few things that make them special is everything that they sell, all their knives and everything is all American made in upstate New York. And they also have a forever guarantee on all their products. So it'd be the last set of knives you'd ever have to buy. And that also comes with free sharpening as well. So it's pretty cool. Here I have a couple of our best-selling knives that might be good for people who like to barbecue and are cutting up a lot of meat as well. So this one is called the Butcher. Really nice knife. It's good for slicing right through ribs and tougher meats. It's your heavy meat knife. And then also it doubles as something to use for your watermelon in the summer, squash in the winter. So really any bigger fruits and stuff that your regular knives won't be able to handle. Then we have the Petite Carver. So it's a great meat knife, good for steaks, chickens, and really any smaller roasts. So it's really perfect for any tougher job you might have in the kitchen as well. And then lastly, another one I have here is our Super Shears. So these are our scissors that we sell in the kitchen. They're perfect for anything from really in the kitchen to outdoor jobs as well. And then they separate for easy cleaning. So they're good to even use on like raw meats and deboning chicken and stuff like that. So these are just some of our products that really demonstrates the quality. And everyone here I'm able to give you the best deal possible if you were to reach out to me, get yourself some of the finest cutlery in the world.
Now, Steven, tell me something. Do you offer any accessories?
Yes,
that
we
would
do.
go along with the cutlery,
Yes,
sharpening
we do.
steels, anything
Yes,
like that?
So we
Could you
have
tell
a
us
bunch
little
of
bit?
different sets. These are just some of the main sets, or some of the main knives we have in our most popular sets, but we have a set for everyone. We also have accessories, we have cookware, so really anything you would ever need in the kitchen. So we have a little bit of everything for everyone.
Steven, thanks for stopping by.
Thank you so much.
And I highly urge you to look into this. I have been looking at it myself, and it's quite a quality product. I'm quite pleased and quite impressed with what they have to offer. So check it out, and you might be pleased. You might be happy. All right, we've let our tomahawks rest, and now the only thing left to do is to plate these up. So we're gonna get them one at a time. We're gonna get them onto our board. And we're gonna go in with our compound butter. Literally just gonna plop some right on top. And we're gonna go in with the second one. There you have it. Smoked and reverse seared, grilled, bone-in tomahawk ribeyes, done Wise Guys barbecue style with an Italian compound butter. All right, let's have some fun. So, I'm gonna remove this top one because I'm going at this bottom, and we're gonna get this cut up. I'm gonna show you how I do it. So, I usually go after this cap, the cap muscle, also referred to as a spinalis. That's the favorite part of the ribeye. I'm gonna go in there and remove that first. Just kind of follow that seam. And then I'm just gonna cut it in chunks, similar to burnt ends. Look at that. The juices are flowing everywhere. This is like a river of tomahawk ribeye juice with that Italian compound butter. Now, basically, I just want to cut 1/4 to a 1/2 inch thick, maybe about a 1/2 inch thick, and I'm gonna go right across. Wow. I'm gonna show you this. Look at those juices. And it's actually cooked to perfection. That reverse sear method, phenomenal. Do this every time you do a thick steak or a roast, you're gonna get such even cooking. I mean, you can't beat that. My goodness. All right, I'm gonna jump right in here. I'm not gonna waste any more time. I'm gonna go with the ribeye first. I'm gonna save that spinalis. That's gonna be the dessert, because that's gonna be off the charts good. So here we go. I am so totally speechless. Now I'm gonna go in with that spinalis. Like I said, this is dessert. Here we go. Almost like a burnt end of a ribeye. That's where all the flavor is. Tender, juicy. Now, you saw the dry brining process at the beginning. You saw all that salt we put on there. And I did the same thing with these. And I can honestly tell you, the level of saltiness is spot on. Just when you think it's way too much, it's not. There's a lot of meat, there's a lot of thickness. It's gonna take its time to penetrate. And this cap, the spinalis muscle, I mean, I don't think there's a better bite in all the world than this. So, that Italian compound butter, garlic, tomato, basil. I mean, this is Wise Guys barbecue at its best. And I mean, I really enjoy doing these. I hope you love seeing us do it for you. And I hope it's gonna give you the courage to do it at home, because you can do it. I know you can. This is Tommy the Butcher for Wise Guys Barbecue. Please like, share, subscribe, ring that notification bell, and I can't wait to see you next time in our next video. So long.